A profound shift in your life can unfold not over a year, nor a month, but within a single morning. This is a quiet truth. It happens when that morning begins with true intention. Most people awaken merely to face the day. The wise awaken to shape their inner world. Here, I will share 4 morning practices that cultivate a deep sense of purpose, and at the conclusion, offer a single reflection to transform the 24 hours that follow. An ancient wisdom teaches us, do not begin the journey of the day until its path is clear in your heart. This is not a mere saying, but a fundamental principle of a life lived with awareness. It is a truth I came to understand during a time of great personal imbalance, a time of asking, what is the true purpose of this path I am walking? For I observed that those who feel fulfilled and those who feel lost often rise at the same hour. One, however, embraces the day with intention, while the other is carried along by its currents. The difference is found in those first moments after opening your eyes. Here lies a great paradox. So many seek transformation, yet they begin each morning in precisely the same way as the day before. They awaken, their hand immediately finds their phone, and they consume a torrent of digital noise before their first conscious breath. They rush into the day like a leaf in the wind, with no map, no destination, and no inner stillness. Then comes the quiet wonder at day's end. Why did I achieve nothing of meaning? Why did the hours pass in a blur, without purpose, without serenity, without growth? I recall a period in my younger years when I was adrift, uncertain in my mind and spirit. It was then that I encountered a guide who shifted my entire perspective. He simply asked me, how does your day truly begin? I answered truthfully, I wake up, prepare for my duties, and let the day unfold as it will. He smiled with understanding and said, and so there is your result. A soul without a morning practice is like a boat without a rudder. From that day forward, I began to build my mornings, moment by moment. And do you know what unfolded? Everything shifted. Not in an instant, but with the quiet, persistent power of a river shaping a stone. Because in the stillness of the morning, our inner strength is forged. In these rituals, clarity is born. In this calm, focused practice, a life of purpose emerges. I have shared with many around the world that if you do not find stillness in your morning, you will not find it in your life. Today, we will explore 4 morning rituals that I have come to see as the unwavering foundation for a conscious, centered, and meaningful existence. But before we explore them, I invite you to reflect with honesty. How does your morning truly begin? Not the ideal version, but the reality. Here is a truth I have found to be constant. A life of meaning is not an accident. It is born from the repeated, gentle actions that cultivate your inner state. You cannot be a scattered being in the morning and expect to find harmony, abundance, and clarity in the rest of your day. It does not work that way. Wise habits are the soil from which a great character grows, and those first hours after you awaken are the most sacred time to plant those seeds. Listen now. My journey did not begin in a place of great learning. Life itself has been the teacher, and I have learned that your origin does not define you. What matters is the direction you are intentionally moving. The path to a meaningful life always begins with a small, deliberate step. With the morning, with inner silence, with a brief, quiet conversation with yourself. What quality of being do I wish to embody today? I once heard it said that you are the reflection of the 5 people you are closest to. I would add this, you are also the result of your first 5 morning habits. Do they cultivate clarity, serenity, energy, and focus, or do they only feed restlessness and distraction? Because in the end, my friend, you do not simply create your morning creates you. And one final thought I wish to leave you with before we turn to the first ritual. People who live with purpose do not just wake up differently, they meet the day differently. They do not just drift into their day, they begin it from a place of centered presence. This is a skill, a practice that you can cultivate. This is the profound insight I wish to share with you. So remain present with me until the end, because today we will not simply discuss 4 rituals. Together, We will engage in a reflection that might just shift not only your morning, but the entire way you experience your life. And at the end, I will offer you a simple inquiry that, come morning, will help you become the person you have long aspired to be. Ritual 1. The stillness of the morning. Begin your day in silence, not in the clamor of the external world. I have always found this to be true. Before you allow the world to speak to you, you must first listen to yourself. This is not poetry, it is a profound practice. The world makes its demands from the very first moments you are awake. It calls to you through your phone, through the news, through the stream of messages. If you do not consciously place your awareness above this noise, it will carry you away before your day has truly begun. This is why the first morning ritual is stillness. 10 to 15 minutes of quiet observation where you consume nothing from the outside world. It may appear simple, but in truth, it is the act of taking hold of your spiritual rudder. In these minutes, you reclaim governance over yourself. You are not rushing. You are not reacting. You are simply being. You become like the calm surface of a lake before the sun rises. For it is in this stillness that your truest intentions are born. It is here that the self is truly formed. I remember a morning from long ago, a difficult time when I felt lost in a sea of obligations, with little sense of my own inner foundation. I awoke long before dawn, not from inspiration, but from a deep inner restlessness. The feeling of being adrift was palpable, and I did the only thing I could. I sat in a chair and was simply still. No sound, no books, no attempt to escape my own unease. And then, for the first time in a very long while, I heard the quiet voice of my own inner wisdom. If you do not change your state of being, your world will not change. That simple insight did not come from outside. It arose from the depths within, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. It was the first stone laid on a new path in my life. From that morning forward, I learned to guard those first few minutes after waking as one guards a precious treasure. I allowed nothing to intrude upon that sacred space, because it is in that space that you choose who you will be for the day. Will you be a reflection of circumstance, or a source of intention, an echo of the world, or a quiet, guiding light? A wise teacher once shared with me, if you allow the random currents of the world to shape your morning, do not be surprised when they shape your entire life. And he was right. All the truly centered people I have met, leaders, artists, creators of all kinds, shared one common thread. They did not begin their day in a state of haste. They began it in stillness and clarity, with an inner alignment to the person they wished to be. And you, how do you begin your day? Do you quiet your alarm multiple times, reach for your phone, check the news, reply to messages, and scroll through the lives of others? Then do not be surprised when your day is guided not by your own inner vision, but by the noise of another's. You are not living, you are being led. I am fond of this image. If the first moments of your morning are the roots of a great tree, then the rest of your day is its canopy. If the roots are shallow and weak, the tree is swayed by every passing wind. But if those first minutes are nourished with stillness, dignity, and inner focus, the day unfolds with a different kind of strength. You do not simply exist, you guide. You do not just act, you act from a place of centered power. I have witnessed this truth again and again. I have sat with men of great worldly success who possessed everything but inner peace. I would ask them, how does your day begin? And I would often hear, I move directly into my work, facing dozens of emails, calls, and meetings. And I would suggest, that is the source of your imbalance. You are a master of your enterprise, but not of your own mind. But one of them, a man of great influence in the world of commerce, truly listened. The very next day, he tried a small experiment. 15 minutes of morning silence. No screen, no external input, just himself, his breath, and the space of his own mind. 2 weeks later, he shared this with me. For the first time, I felt I was not just responding to the market. I was responding to my own inner guidance. And that shift was everything, because here is a truth I know with certainty. A person who does not find a moment of stillness in the morning may speak many words during the day, but will say nothing of true importance. This first ritual is not about meditation or mysticism. It is about a clear-minded practice. It is your inherent right to reclaim yourself before the world draws you into its flow. It is your internal anchor, your grounding point. And if you seek strength for a challenging day, energy for a creative breakthrough, or calm in the midst of a storm, you will not find it in the news or in a cup of coffee. You will discover it in the stillness of the morning. And here is another thought. This practice costs nothing. It requires no special equipment. It does not depend on your surroundings. The only thing it requires is your decision, your quiet declaration. I begin this day not as a servant to its demands, but as a student of my own inner wisdom. Now, my friend, ask yourself, can you gift yourself 10 minutes of silence tomorrow morning? No phone, no speaking, no notifications. Just sit, breathe, and notice your inner landscape. Because your deeper wisdom is still there, and it is waiting for you to quiet the outside world and finally begin to listen to it. That is the beginning of true transformation. Ritual 2. Bring intention to your day before you live it. Do not begin your day until its purpose is felt in your heart. This is one of my deepest beliefs. I have shared it in many forms on my journey. And do you know why? Because its wisdom is profound and its practice is transformative. Most people begin their day with no clear intention. They awaken and are simply carried by the currents. And I will share with you, in all honesty, my friends, if you have not set a clear intention for your day, you have already seeded its direction before it has begun. When I was younger and still seeking my path, a mentor once asked me, "Show me your intention for the day." I felt a sense of unease and said, "I have many things to do. They are all here in my mind." He stopped me with a gentle gesture and said, "If your day's purpose is not clear in your heart, its energy is not in your hands." It was a moment of profound clarity, a truth that struck me deeply, because here is what I have learned: people of purpose do not improvise their lives. They cultivate them, they bring intention to them, they give them a clear channel through which to flow. Others simply react. They move where urgency, panic, or the demands of others pull them. So, I cultivated a second unwavering ritual. Every morning, before I offer a single word to the world, I take a moment with a pen and clarify 3 things. What is one meaningful thing I wish to accomplish today? Why is it truly important to me? And what is the first step I will take? This practice takes no more than 10 minutes, yet it changes the entire texture of the day. Imagine this. You are the gentle guide of the river of your life. You are not a bystander watching it flow by. You are not driftwood. You are not reacting to the currents. You are the source of intention. And in the morning, before opening your devices or responding to the requests of others, you clarify. First step, I will address the one task I have been avoiding and do so with a calm heart. Second step, I will approach my meeting with presence and listen deeply. Third step, I will end my day with a moment of quiet gratitude. Because if you do not bring direction to your day, another's agenda will surely do it for you. Your clients, your family, your passing emotions, your notifications. The world is full of currents that will gladly carry the unmoored. But a life of meaning chooses those who consciously set their own course. I have seen this practice change the lives of others. Once, at a gathering, a young accountant approached me. He felt exhausted, burned out, and depleted. "I feel as though every day is an echo of the last," he said. "I am stuck in a repeating pattern." I did not suggest a book or a philosophy. I simply said, for the next 7 days, every morning, clarify your intention. Write down 3 things you will definitely bring your awareness to, and why. A week later, he returned, a different person. There was a light in his eyes. "I feel like I am finally the author of my own experience," he said. And it was true, because we are not crushed by the weight of reality. We are crushed by the weight of a scattered mind, and the antidote to a scattered mind is gentle order. And that order begins with a pen. I have often shared this perspective. Any action not anchored in a clear intention will either be forgotten or will feel empty, because the mind thrives on clarity. And when you write, "Today at 10 a.m., I will make the call I have been avoiding," you are not just planning, you are making a commitment to yourself. There is another crucial point. A written intention also builds an emotional bridge, because when you add the word "why" to a task, you infuse it with meaning and purpose. For example, I am completing this difficult project today because it is an act of self-respect, because I want to be someone who honors my commitments, because my time is valuable. That is where true energy comes from. There is no power in a task without a sense of purpose. But when you have the what, the why, and the how, your day finds a central axis, a spine. You do not fall into fragments. You feel integrated. And in the evening, you did not just survive another day, you lived it with awareness. Now, allow me to share something important. This ritual is not just about becoming more effective. It is about dignity. It is about acknowledging that you matter enough to have a clear direction. Not just a list of tasks, but a vision. Because if you do not honor your day will not honor you. I once heard it said, a person without a plan is easy prey for someone else's. And it is true. If you do not clarify your own 3 intentions, you will undoubtedly end up serving 10 of someone else's. And perhaps you will do it well, but what will become of your own journey? And one more thing, a written intention is also a tool for building inner trust. Every time you consciously complete a task you set for yourself, you strengthen your faith in your own capacity. And that, believe me, is one of the most powerful states of being in this life. Long ago, I went through a day without a clear intention. I thought, it is no matter. I will simply respond to what arises. And can you guess the result? Procrastination, distraction, reactivity. By the end of the day, I felt a sense of failure, even though I had been very busy. And it was then I understood being busy is not the same as being purposeful. So here is your invitation. Tomorrow morning, sit quietly, take a pen and write. What will I do today? Why does this matter? How will I begin? You do not need 30 items. 3 is enough. But engage with them with honor, with calm confidence, with a quiet dignity. And in the evening, look at yourself in the mirror and know, I did not just live this day, I created my experience of it. Ritual 3: awaken your body. Unify your mind, treat your body as if it matters, because it is the vessel of your awareness. Here is a simple truth that took me time to fully grasp. A meaningful life is not solely a function of the mind, it is a function of vitality. And vitality resides in the body. If your body is sluggish, your mind cannot be clear. If your posture is collapsed, your thoughts will lack conviction. That is why my 3rd morning ritual is as essential as stillness and intention. It is movement. Any form of movement, but done every day, without exception. I used to share with people in my gatherings. If you wish to be present, centered, and inspiring, but you cannot begin your day without external stimulants, we do not have a problem of motivation. We have a problem of physiology. And it is true, because the body is the vessel for the spirit. If the vessel is not cared for, the spirit cannot fully express itself. I remember when I first began my journey of inner change, I focused on philosophy, goals, and mental habits. But something felt incomplete. I felt a sense of stagnation. Then a wise friend, a master of physical arts, said to me, "What about your body? You think a great deal, but do you move?" And I realized that I had become knowledgeable, but lacked vitality. And that is an unbalanced state. From that day on, every morning, before I sat with my intentions, books, or thoughts, I made it a point to move. Sometimes it was simple walking, sometimes a gentle stretching practice, sometimes just deep breathing exercises on my porch. But I did it every single day, like cleansing my teeth, like a shower, because it is a shower for your inner energy. Why is this so vital? Because life energy is born in movement, and this energy is the currency of a purposeful life. People often say, "I lack motivation," and I would gently reply, "Perhaps you lack oxygen." Because a mind without healthy blood flow cannot be inspired. A body that is not in motion cannot generate willpower. I once observed a simple formula. A healthier body leads to more energy, which leads to clearer decisions, which leads to better outcomes, which leads to more confidence, which leads to new actions. It all begins with the body, with the simple act of awakening and rising. A young man came to me after a talk and said, "I desire change, but I cannot seem to start my day before 1100 a.m. I always feel like I am trying to catch up." I asked, "How does your morning begin?" He shrugged. "I wake up, drink coffee, scroll on my phone." I suggested, "Tomorrow morning, no coffee, no phone. For 5 minutes, just walk. Just move your body, not for fitness, but for yourself." A week later, he expressed his thanks, not because he had lost weight or become an athlete, but because he felt truly alive before his breakfast. Here is what you need to understand. This ritual is not about building a certain physique or appearing fit. It is about inner ignition. It is about the signal you send to yourself. I am alive. I am taking action. I am present. When you awaken and immediately move your body, you are signaling to life, I am ready. And life responds in kind. But when you awaken and remain passive, life will inevitably push you, and you will be left in a state of reaction. I am not asking you to become a marathon runner, but I am asking you to make your body your ally, not your prison, not your burden, not just a tool for survival, but your source of vibrant energy. Did you know that even 3 minutes of mindful movement in the morning can shift your entire neurochemistry? Levels of dopamine, the hormone of accomplishment, begin to rise. Levels of cortisol, the hormone of stress, begin to fall. You are not just moving, you are preparing your inner state for harmony. Here is a simple practice, a personal protocol. 3 minutes of gentle walking, perhaps in your room or your garden. 3 minutes of simple stretches, reaching for the sky, bending to the earth. 3 minutes of deep, conscious breathing, inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6. After this brief practice, you are a different person, not just awake, but awakened. Now I know some of you may be thinking, but what if I feel tired? What if I did not sleep well? And my answer is, that is precisely why you need this. The body is not merely a machine, it is a fire. And you must learn to kindle it not just when you feel like it, but when you need to. Because here is the core truth. A purposeful life is not about always feeling good. It is the ability to generate inner strength, even when you don't feel like it. And every morning, when your feet touch the floor, and you declare, I am rising, I am moving, I am activating my own energy, you are not just training your muscles, you are shaping your identity. You become the person who does not wait for inspiration. You become your own source of inspiration. So ask yourself, do I have a morning practice that gives me energy? If not, tomorrow is the day to begin. Not next Monday, not when you feel in the perfect mood. Begin with the body, because it is your first and most faithful instrument for personal transformation. Ritual 4, acknowledge who you are and envision who you are becoming. I have often said, a person without a vision is like a boat without a destination. It may be a fine boat, but it drifts wherever the wind blows. And this is not just a metaphor, it is a law of nature. If you do not know who you wish to become, the world will happily shape you into something that serves its own purposes, not your deepest aspirations. That is why my 4th morning ritual, one I have never neglected, is composed of 2 simple steps. First, gratitude, then vision. 2 steps, but together they form an emotional and spiritual center of gravity that draws the day towards your intentions, rather than you being pulled into the chaos of the day. Step 1 is gratitude. Yes, that is right. And this is not a religious dogma. It is a practice of focus. If your mind immediately focuses on what you lack in the morning, you begin your day from a place of not enough. And your entire day becomes a pursuit of what is missing. But if you open your eyes and your first conscious thought is, I am alive, I have this mind, I have one more opportunity, you activate a completely different kind of power. Gratitude is the energy of enough, and the feeling of enough is the foundation for all wise growth. Do you know what provides the best anchor for success? It is not hunger, but the clear awareness that you already possess inherent value. that you are already a person worthy of respect. From that anchor, the real journey begins. I taught myself to write down 3 simple things every single morning. I am grateful for my awareness. I am grateful for the capacity to change. I am grateful for one more day. And if you feel you have nothing else, start there. Because even one day is an immeasurable gift, and gratitude for that gift transforms you into someone who not only receives, but multiplies that which is good. Step 2 is vision. That is correct. Envision yourself as the person you aspire to become. But do not do this abstractly. Do it with your senses, vividly, deeply. Do not just imagine the successful you. Imagine the you who embodies your deepest values, your true style, your purpose, your quiet strength. I once sat on a park bench during a time when my pockets were empty and my mind was full of anxiety. And I did one thing. I closed my eyes and pictured myself sharing my insights with others. I imagined the feeling of holding a space for them. I saw people nodding in understanding, and I envisioned a young person approaching me afterward and saying, "Thank you." This changed my state. And even though my reality at that moment was one of lack, in that inner image, I was something more. And that vision gave me the strength to navigate my day. From then on, I created a daily habit, 10 minutes every morning to visualize not what I want to have, but who I want to be. Because people do not really desire things. They desire the feelings those things might provide. And those feelings can be cultivated long before anything in your external world changes. Imagine yourself as someone who speaks with dignity, who has calm in their heart, purpose in every choice, and strength in their presence. And here is the key. When you visualize that person every morning, you begin to make their decisions. You begin to speak their words. You begin to react with their sense of calm. The mind does not always distinguish between a vivid inner experience and external reality. This means you can begin embodying the future version of yourself in small ways, in your behavior, in your stillness, right now. Many people have asked me, "Did you truly believe in visualization?" I answered, "No, I lived it." Because the difference between a fleeting dream and a guiding vision is the feeling you attach to it. A dream is a light mist. A vision is an inner reality that is already shaping your steps. I have seen it transform lives. One of my students, a humble office worker, began with something simple. Every day, he visualized himself as a leader who inspired confidence. He did not yet have a team, but there was a new strength in his eyes. A month later, when a new position opened up, he was chosen without hesitation, not just for his experience, but because he was already embodying the role of the person he wished to become. And here is the main point. This ritual is about inner transformation, which always precedes outer change. If you do not see yourself as capable, no one else will. If you do not feel you are worthy of more, no one will offer it to you. That is why my morning practice always concluded with this simple phrase: I am grateful for what is, and I am in alignment with who I am becoming. And that is all. No need for more. No need for external motivators. No need for the right mood. Because when you are grateful, you are at peace. When you have a vision, you have direction. And when those two forces merge, you act not from a place of need, but from a place of dignity. So tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, sit down, close your eyes, and ask, what am I truly grateful for? Who do I aspire to be? How can I act like that version of me just for today? Do not wait for change to happen to you. Become the change. Do not ask life for more. Give thanks for what you have and show that you are ready for more. That is how you create not just a new day, but a new you. Now that you have learned these 4 morning rituals, let us do something that most people never do. Let us assess ourselves with honesty. No justification, no perhaps, no one day. Just here and now. Because I will tell you, this change does not arise from inspiration alone. It arises from clear decisions. And decisions begin with awareness. We will do this together. I will ask you 5 questions, and you will give yourself an inner score from 1 to 10, where 1 means never, and 10 means I live this every day. Do not pause the recording. Simply listen and respond from your intuition. Your gut feeling is the most honest guide. First question, how consciously do you begin your morning? Do you have a moment of silence where you are not reacting, but simply observing your inner state? If your morning begins with rushing, news, or a sense of pressure, perhaps give yourself a 2 or 3. But if you have 10 minutes of quiet stillness where you feel centered, present, and aware, that is an 8 or 9. Remember, silence is not emptiness. It is the space where your inner strength is born. Second, how clearly do you set your intention for the day? Do you have at least 3 key purposes clarified with a clear what, why, and how? Or are you simply improvising, moving from one demand to the next? Give yourself a score. Be honest, because if you are not setting your own intentions, someone else is, and often not in a way that serves your true path. Third question, how active is your body in the morning? Not what you intend to do, but what you actually practice. Even 5 minutes of conscious movement is the beginning of strength. But if your morning is defined by coffee, a chair, and a smartphone, instead of by your feet and your breath, give yourself a 2 or 3. A body without motion is a mind without awakening. Fourth, do you express gratitude for the new day? Not just formally, but with sincere feeling. Do you have a moment where you say, thank you for this breath, thank you for this chance? This is not about religion. It is about maturity. Gratitude is the first form of inner mastery. If you forget to be thankful, the world can start to feel like a barren place. And finally, the fifth question, how clearly do you envision the person you wish to become? Do you see this version of yourself in detail, in gesture, in speech, in choice? If not, you may be playing a role in a script that someone else has written for you. Give yourself a score. How aligned is your present self with your highest vision for yourself? Now, take a short pause. Look at these 5 scores. This is not a judgment. It is a diagnosis. It is a mirror. And if you see low scores, like 3s or 4s, that is a wonderful thing. It means you now know where the work lies. You know where your transformation can begin. And perhaps where your new morning begins. What is self-respect, after all? It is the daily choice to be a better version of yourself. Not in theory, but in practice, in small rituals, in those first few minutes after you wake. And here is what I will tell you in closing. You have the power. You have always had it. You simply need to call upon it in the morning, in the stillness, in the movement, with pen and paper, with vision, and with gratitude. When this video ends, do one thing. Return to these 5 questions and write down your honest answers. Not for me, but for yourself. Because paper does not forget. And from this moment of awareness onward, you can no longer be the person you were before. And here we are. We have walked this entire path together, from the first moment of stillness to the final act of vision. 4 simple rituals. Not magic, not fashionable trends, but timeless, disciplined practice. The kind that forges true character. Because in the end, it is not the day that makes the person. It is the person who makes the day. I have always believed that success is not an event. It is a habit. And habit begins in the morning, not with a grand plan on a calendar, not with great promises, but with the small, quiet decision to awaken and begin being the person you wish to become, even before your first meal. If you have truly heard me today, if something within you has resonated with this truth, do not wait. Tomorrow is not just another day. Tomorrow is a new beginning, a new chance, a fresh start. And everything you require, you already possess. A mind, a body, a pen, a few moments of silence, a few deep breaths, and a choice. Your choice. Here is something else I have come to realize. It does not matter where you stand right now. What matters is the direction in which you are consciously moving. And if, starting tomorrow morning, you begin to move not in a scattered way, but with clear intention, then every day will not be just another day passing by, but one step closer to your truest self. Remember 10 minutes of silence, and you hear your own wisdom. 10 minutes with a pen, and your day finds its direction. 5 minutes of movement, and your mind awakens. 3 minutes of gratitude and vision, and your heart finds its alignment. Everything else is simply the natural result. So I will leave you with this question. Are you ready to live tomorrow? Not as a random passenger on a turbulent sea, but as the captain of your own vessel. The ship is already yours. The compass is within you. All that is left is for you to set your sail. And if this message has been of service to you, I ask one small thing. Offer it a like. It is a way of saying thank you. And it is a way to help this message find someone else who might truly need to hear it. Subscribe to this channel if you wish to continue this journey of wisdom. No distractions, no noise, just depth and authenticity. Here, we do not just get inspired, we learn how to live better. And do not forget to leave a comment. Which ritual resonated with you the most? What morning habit do you wish to begin tomorrow? Or perhaps, share your own ritual. Someone else may read it and have their life change because of you. Because this is what I believe, until my final day, one idea, heard at the right moment, can alter a person's entire destiny. Perhaps that idea was here for you today. And remember, friends, do not dive into the chaos of the day until you have found your own inner calm. And never forget, the best morning is the one where you consciously become a better you. I will see you in our next reflection. And remember, you are not a spectator of your life. You are its author.